The so-called glam yoga teacher is in court. The trial of Kaitlin Armstrong starting now, and I mean right now.
You heard the lady, like right meow. Let's get into it.
Glam yoga teacher.
Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be recapping day 3 in court of the Kaitlin Armstrong Love Triangle Murder Trial. The first 2 days of Kaitlin Armstrong's murder trial were covered in previous videos. But just to give you a little background, they involved graphic crime scene images and in-depth questioning about the process of gathering evidence at the scene. Judge Brenda Kennedy has only allowed cameras in the courtroom for opening and closing statements and for the verdict. So we are forced to read updates every day. So lucky for you, I'm going to put those together and I'll be bringing you daily coverage of the Kaitlin Armstrong trial. Let's get into day 3. Kaitlin Armstrong, 35, is charged with first-degree murder in the May 11th, 2022 shooting death of Anna Moriah Mo Wilson, who was 25. Armstrong was allegedly furious that her boyfriend, professional cyclist Colin Strickland, had secretly gone out on a date with Wilson. A 43-day manhunt for Armstrong ensued when she skipped town after being questioned and released by police about why her 2012 Jeep Grand Cherokee was caught on surveillance video near the scene of the murder. Police didn't have enough evidence to make an arrest, but Armstrong proceeded to sell her vehicle and hop on a plane. She went from Austin to Houston to New York and eventually landed in Costa Rica. Armstrong was captured in Costa Rica in July of 2022. She had apparently undergone plastic surgery and dyed her hair. She was laying low at a hostel and had been using her sister's passport. Armstrong was extradited to the U.S., where she pleaded not guilty to the murder charge. Bail was set at $3.5 million, and she has remained in custody ever since. This is the trial of Texas versus Kaitlin Marie Armstrong. Daniel Shaer was the first to take the stand Friday. He lives near Cash's apartment, where Wilson was killed. Police contacted Shaer, asking for his home surveillance footage. Shaer said he found a card from a detective at his front door a few days after the shooting, with a note requesting the footage. Shaer obliged. In Shaer's video, which was played for the court, a black vehicle can be seen parked inside the carport, which belonged to him. The port is slim and can only fit one car. There was a door on the right leading into the house and a fence to the left, separating homes. The video shows Shaer emerging from the door towards his car as a motorcycle passes by the carport. According to police documents, Strickland had picked up and dropped Wilson off on his motorcycle in the hours leading up to when she was killed. We found this video on X from this person named Hollis. So I wanted to give credit to them, but this gives a good perspective of where Mo was staying and the alleyway and the fencing and all of that. So let's take a look at this video. And in her post, she says, "I wanted to share this video to give everyone a good perspective. I am facing the alleyway to the residence that Anna Moriah Mo Wilson was basically ambushed and killed mercilessly by, allegedly, Kaitlin Armstrong. You will see the residence with the wooden steps, further down a bit where Mo's racing bike was found and tossed onto the ground. ending looking at the end of the alley as if leaving the alleyway. If anyone knows what those plants are, leave it in the comment section below. If you're from Texas and you know. I think that's bamboo, but I'm not sure. Defense attorney Rick Kofer asked Shaer if he knew Strickland or Armstrong or had ever seen Armstrong in person before seeing her in court Friday. Shaer said no. The state played police body camera video of homicide detectives' first interaction with Colin Strickland at Strickland's home. In the video, Austin PD first asks Strickland if he knows an Anna Moriah, and Strickland looks confused and says no. It wasn't until police say Mo Wilson that he recognizes who they're talking about. The Austin Police Department officer informed Strickland, quote, "There's no easy way to say this, sir, but it appears that last night she passed away." At this point, Strickland covers his face with his hands, then puts his hands on his hips and looks down. He then says, "That's wild." Strickland explained that he and Wilson had hung out the day before, and he dropped her off just before dark at Cash's apartment and did not go upstairs. Strickland also spoke very highly of Cash to police officers, calling her a sweetheart and talking about how close she and Wilson were. Strickland told police what Wilson was wearing as they hung out, which matches crime scene photos shown earlier in the trial. Detectives asked him about his relationship with Wilson, and Strickland said they had a brief relationship while he and Kaitlin Armstrong were on a break in 2021, but only maintained a friendship when he and Armstrong got back together. Later that evening, Ayers helped execute a search warrant at Strickland's home with a team of others. Recovered during the search were 2 MacBooks, 2 cell phones, DNA swabs of a vehicle's steering wheel, digital photographs, and 2 9mm handguns. Although police also had a search warrant for a home being renovated by Armstrong, nothing was taken from there. In the video, you can see and hear Strickland consent to going to police headquarters to issue an official statement. As the video played, Armstrong looked at the screen in the front of the courtroom. The judge excused the jury before the court viewed the video, so the defense could issue objections if they wished. The defense objected to most of the video. The judge has allowed the jury to view the whole video, but ruled the audio must be cut after a few minutes. Essentially, just enough to capture Strickland's initial reaction. Before the video played, Sergeant Jason Ayers was on the stand, talking about the process of going to talk to Strickland. Ayers said he and another homicide detective identified Strickland for questioning because he appeared to be the last person who saw Wilson. Ayers also said he had been told there was a black Jeep with a bike rack near the crime scene at the time of Wilson's death, and he saw a black Jeep with a bike rack at Strickland's home when he and Detective Richard Spittler went to question him. While serving the search warrant at Strickland's home, they also observed Armstrong's passport, $500 in cash, foreign currency, and her sister's passport on a table. Prosecutors then played another Ring doorbell video from one of the 3 neighbors. In each, you can see a black SUV that prosecutors have previously said belonged to Armstrong, driving through the neighborhood before 9 p.m., the day Wilson died. In one video, you can hear screams, followed by gunshots about 30 minutes after the SUV is seen slowly driving through the neighborhood. I'm going to play that Ring doorbell audio for you now. Just a caution, it is a bit shocking.
Following Wilson's scream, 2 gunshots can be heard. Prosecutors say these were fired into her head. A third, seconds later, was delivered to Wilson's chest. Here's the audio again.
The defense asked the owner of that video, Michael Donlin, who now lives out of state, if he had ever seen Armstrong in person or on surveillance video. Donlin said no. The court heard from Colin Strickland in person for the first time. He was Armstrong's live-in boyfriend and was with Anna Moriah Wilson the day she was killed. Colin Strickland was on the stand for about 3 hours. He spoke softly and was hard to hear in the packed courtroom. This was the first time we were able to hear from him directly about his relationship with Armstrong and his day with Wilson on the day of the murder. Colin Strickland took the stand in Kaitlin Armstrong's murder trial Friday afternoon. He began talking about his relationship with Armstrong. He called it a, quote, sometimes tumultuous relationship that was at times extremely comfortable and loving, unquote. The state asked him about how he met Wilson and about when their brief romance took place. Strickland said their relationship was entirely platonic for about the first year they knew each other. But they went on a date in late 2021 when Wilson spent some time in Austin, at a point where Strickland and Armstrong had been broken up. Eventually got back together in December of 2021. The two had lived together during portions of when they were broken up. Strickland testified about Mo telling him of a phone call she received from Armstrong while Armstrong and Strickland were broken up, confronting Wilson about her relationship with Strickland. She was upset, Strickland said, of Wilson's reaction. Strickland said Armstrong had access to his email and social media passwords, and therefore access to his text messages. He also addressed a time in December of 2021 when he purchased 2 handguns after Armstrong told him she was paranoid about certain things, like going on bike rides alone in the woods and a homeless camp near their home. The state asked if Strickland knew Kaitlin Cash, the woman Wilson was staying with in town. Strickland said yes and spoke very highly of Cash. Strickland testified about spending the day with Wilson on May 11th, saying he dropped her off at Cash's after they went to Deep Eddy and Pool Burger and never went inside the apartment. He was taken in for questioning while a search warrant of his home was issued and executed. Items found in the home and Armstrong's black Jeep included a Texas license plate, a passport belonging to Christine Armstrong, foreign currency, and 2 9mm handguns. Strickland said after 6.5 hours of questioning, he eventually went home, where he was greeted by Armstrong and started talking about the day of the murder. Strickland said Armstrong told him she went for a waxing appointment, a yoga class, and then visited a healer. She never mentioned Wilson. The next day, they met at a coffee shop because Armstrong was paranoid there were microphones in the home. Strickland left and never saw Armstrong again. Strickland will be back on the stand on Monday, and court starts back up at 9:00 a.m. And here is some footage of Strickland leaving the courthouse. In other happenings on Friday, Armstrong's defense attorneys have filed an application for community supervision. Armstrong prays that in the event of a conviction, that the sentence be suspended and that she be placed on community supervision, according to court documents. This case is expected to last through mid-November. Thank you for watching and following Day 3 in court with me. Please like, subscribe, and share this video for future updates. Be sure to check out my other videos and playlists for more true crime content. And if that's not enough, you can join our Patreon. Don't have a tinfoil hat? It's okay. We'll make you one. It's that easy. See you guys in the next video.
See you later. Bye.